Hi everyone, back again, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about birth trauma. I am a big proponent of therapy and counseling, and even the work that postpartum doulas do, and just actively listening. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about birth trauma. It is C-section Awareness Month, and I know a lot of people. Um, have trauma from an unexpected or an emergency C-section. And that's not the only type of birth trauma there can be, also including vaginal births that just didn't go the way you wanted. Either you wanted completely natural and you ended up needing Pitocin or other interventions along the way, or even with racism in the birth room. And that is happening more than a lot of people want to believe or admit. But racism does contribute to birth trauma and a negative impact on your birth experience, even throughout your pregnancy, birth, and in postpartum. And this week is Black Maternal Health Week. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about birth trauma and highlight all the wonderful work that us Black birth workers are doing to help moms around the world, and especially in America where racism is common and is just embedded in our system. So if you are someone who has had a traumatic birth, has been traumatized by your birth experience in all the ways that I've said and more, that's not an exhaustive list at all. If you have had any trauma, I encourage you to go to therapy. Someone who specializes in pregnancy, postpartum, and perinatal mood disorders, and also trauma as well. Just so you're able to really process and unpack all of what had happened, and also that you can really just unpack and talk about your experience, just so you're able to go through some healing and also move forward with some positivity and some healing in general. So some tips that I have here, I wrote them down, so I'm looking at my paper. So some tips that I have are definitely talk to somebody, get a therapist. Therapy is up and coming and it's not as taboo anymore, especially in the Black community. You see a lot more Black people going to therapists and are actually becoming therapists. So we have more representation in that field. So I encourage you to go to therapy, go to counseling, or even talk to your postpartum doula. So I'm a postpartum doula and I do a lot of sessions just actively listening. I'm not a licensed counselor. I'm not a licensed mental health therapist by all means. I do have a background in psychology. So I do try to use that in active listening through your experience. And sometimes that's even a big help, or at least a starting point on somebody's journey. So I do want to highlight that I can help in some ways with that. If you don't have access to a therapist, you cannot find somebody that you like. And in the meantime, I'm here to just listen and help you a little bit on your healing journey with trauma. So definitely talking to someone professional. Talking to somebody professional. Next is sharing with others. A lot of times we go through these things, we go through traumas, and we don't tell anybody. We as women, we like to be strong. We can handle it, maybe this is what everybody does or goes through, and I just need to get over it or get through it, and I can just get through it if I just power through and keep on doing, what I'm doing, taking care of my baby and this and that. But I will say that if you are not taking care of you, and if you still need healing and you're still going through triggers of being traumatized from birth and things from even your past, then you're not going to be the best you and you're not going to be the best mom. So definitely take care of you, because you can only give what you have inside you. You can only You can't give from an empty cup. If you're on empty and you're just rolling on fumes, how are you going to be able to better take care of your family, better take care of your child, and impact the world if you still are running from an empty cup? So you got to get that cup filled. If that cup is completely broken, you got to get a new cup. You got to build that cup back up. And part of that is therapy, sharing with others. So sharing with others helps other people know that, oh, another mom is going through this. I'm not by myself, right? If we never talk about our traumas, if we never talk about these things, then how does somebody else know what to look for if they're going through the same thing? And they're not seeing it as not normal, but they're not seeing as the normal path is, oh, I'm going through this. I recognize this. I've seen it before. Someone has at least told me about this, and I know I can get help with therapy. It's not like taboo. It's not like something you have to hide. So sharing with others is also important to bring awareness to these issues, but also to get healing with sharing with others, where I come in too. You can share with me. So that's one thing. Forgiving yourself. That's all a part of healing from your birth trauma. Forgiving yourself. And this may take a while. I'm not saying these things lightly. Oh, Shaq, forgive yourself. Okay, I forgive myself. No, it may take a while. It may take a long time, but at least I'm working on that. I'm working on forgiving myself. So that's another thing that you can try to do is forgive yourself. It's not your fault. It's not your fault what happened. So forgiving yourself, that would help in your healing journey, because you are awesome. You got through that birth. You did all that you could, and you did everything. In some cases, you did everything right. It was somebody else that came in and inflicted this trauma on your experience. So a lot of times it's not you. So forgive yourself, even if you say, but I chose that hospital, but I chose that doctor, but I chose this. I said yes. I said, okay, do that intervention. And look what happened. I'm going to say, stop right there. Stop right there. You did awesome. You are awesome. Just forgive yourself. And that may take time with also processing your story as well, because it's not black and white. It's not an easy thing. So processing what happened with a counselor or a doula can also help you on your journey to forgiving yourself. Also know that birth is only the beginning. It's only day one of your child's life. Birth is only the beginning of your relationship with your baby and your relation in your new role as a mom. And I know you might be like, but it started off terrible. Alison, you don't know what I've just been through. I hear you. And I see you, that you don't want you want everything to start off perfectly. And, that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the next whatever years of your child's life. I get you. But birth is only the beginning. Only the beginning. And it's only going to get better from here. So I like to also put a positive spin on that. It's only going to get better. It's going to get better because you care so much. You wouldn't be sitting here watching my video or in this group or on this channel or following this account if you didn't care. If you didn't care, you'd be like, oh well. But you care about your baby. You want them to have great experiences. You want that. And because of that's your heart, that child is blessed to have you. So birth is only the beginning. You are going to be an awesome mom. You already are an awesome mom. And that kid is going to have a great, great life because of you. So it's only going to get better. And it's going to get better because you're going to do the work of healing so you can give more to your kid. Give more to those around you. So that's only the beginning of your healing journey. I wanted to say two more things. That your partner also may have some trauma too. So a lot of times you're thinking about yourself because yeah, you carried the baby, you birthed the baby, you did all of that. But sometimes we can forget like, oh wait, they were alongside of us through that journey too in a different way. And maybe they had expectations, or maybe they had a way they thought it was gonna go. And for them, it's different for the partners, but you may be inclined to ask, like, how do you feel how this went? It's different for them, but just pointing that out, your partner may have some trauma too that they need to wrestle through. Let's say they missed the birth. Maybe that was the trauma. And you're like, man, my partner was supposed to be here for whatever reason. They missed it. And now that messed up your birth experience. And then they're over there like, I missed it. I was on my way. But I planned this. I was away. I was traveling, but I didn't expect the baby to come and I missed it. Think about your partner in that they're probably kicking themselves like they missed the first moment of their child's life. So things like that, just to put a different spin on some of what birth trauma can look like. And lastly is you don't need to do it right. So I caution you to rush into another pregnancy. I caution you to do that. And I caution you with the intent of doing it right. And this is something I'm still working through. So as you can see, everyone, is kind of working through something that you don't need to do it right. You don't need to rush into anything because you're like, oh, I messed up, or this went wrong. Next time it's going to go exactly how I want it to go, or, XYZ. I caution you to about that, especially if you still have a lot of healing going on. Because like I said, if you're not healed up, if you're not coming from a different place, you're just going to bring all of that into the next birth. And if that doesn't go right, then that's another trauma piled on top of the previous one that you didn't really work through. So I caution you from doing it right. Birth is unpredictable. As a birth worker, I'm going to tell you that is unpredictable. You can want that natural vaginal birth, and for whatever reason, something unexpected happens. Not saying it has to be, the worst case scenario, but if something didn't go your way, for all little number of things. So I caution you to do it right because birth is unpredictable. A lot of things happen. We can't predict how everything is going to go from, even with the same mom, for the next, all of her pregnancy. I'm telling you, they'll all be different. And I'm sure it went a different way from what she wanted. And that happens all the time. So I just caution you from doing it right, but I want to caution you from wanting to do it right. And I want to instill a positive word that you are right. You are the right mom for your kid. You were right in your birthing role. You did everything right because you birthed your baby. Your baby is here. So, you did it right. You're healthy. Your baby is healthy. You did what you were able to do. And sometimes it's somebody else's fault that something went wrong. So I want to instill something in you that, you are awesome. You're doing great. And I hope this is a little encouraging on your way to healing. So I do encourage you to find that therapist, do find that counselor, even if it's one session. Reach out to me, talk to me. I hold sessions going over your birth story and going through trauma. So I encourage you to do that. And I hope you are doing well on healing and your journey through motherhood and all of that. So I will see you in another video, and take care.